Yesterday's low, that 4100. All right, welcome everybody. We are live. Let's get it going. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Friday afternoon? We're starting to see a lot of red come in the market after we put in a little bit of excess and a peek back into yesterday's range. Coming back down towards the open here. I'll be honest with you guys. I went to sleep yesterday at like 8 o'clock my time and didn't wake up today until like 7 a.m. So I actually had some puts that I bought, some SPY puts that I bought yesterday at the close, because I had made a deal with myself if we closed below 41.45 that I was going to buy some puts. Well, we closed 41.44. I think the settle was actually 41.43 quarter. Let me just go ahead and mark it for us real quick. But, you know, being lazy or last was up at 51, huh? 51. My puts were up really good, and then now they're not. So that was a big mistake by me. Why does that first one not work? Weird. Okay, there we go. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. So let's kind of just take a look and go over what we saw so far this morning. We did open up inside yesterday's range, right? We went below pretty rapidly. The market started to sell off pretty hard early on. We put in a poor low this morning down inside the excess from the second, which I think was Tuesday, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, or no, was that Monday? Yeah, Monday. You know, inside that excess, which shows that responsive buyers are still kind of lurking down here. The difference here is we did get a lot of activity, but we did see that tapering, and then the market started to the market really started to rally, and you can see it's kind of been, you know, on its way up. Just, I mean, technically one time framing up since the first period. What do you want, kitty? Fuck off. You can see that we're inside this like right towards the bottom of this balance level, because our balance level was 41.45. And so the settle and the last are pretty much, you know, in my opinion, probably going to act as a little bit of resistance. Also, we're coming into yesterday's point of control, but without a strong reaction off of this point of control from yesterday, you know, there is good odds that we go up there and repair some of these, you know, emotional trading ranges that traded up here in balance. It is Friday, so, you know, we might not see a bunch of crazy things. We did have non-farm payrolls this morning, and the market kind of went up off of that. If we put Globex back in. Morning, Jamie. Good morning, Peter. Morning, Pop. Chris B. Purple Swan, what's up? Flying Pop. Caesar, good morning. Right now, this chat up. There we go. Now I can see it. And I mean, honestly, this morning, you're just getting kind of a rebalance of everything. I think everyone is just kind of all over the place trying to figure it out. We do have a poor high here now. Let's see if we're going to break it and probably head towards yesterday's settle, maybe. Only 61 contracts traded on that high though. Everything's looking pretty it's like it's trying to make higher lows, right? So you got XLC making higher lows, XLI making higher lows, XLP making higher lows, XLF making higher lows, XLY, XLK, and XLB. Everything's making higher lows here. Now we switch over to the flex, you can see that the tick, when it loads, has been pretty mixed, right? It started off this morning pretty bearish as the selling was coming in. It has since flipped and is now starting to pick up a little bit of steam, and we're starting to see these buyers get up here. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous on this high is as we get to 1,000, I mean, we're not really trending in that low. We do have a poor low, but you know, sometimes a poor low will form inside an excess like that and stay. So, you know, especially we're so far away from it, I don't want to get too sold on the fact that, oh, let's just get short here because we're gonna have to fix that poor low. That doesn't necessarily have to happen today, right? You could see the advanced decline is still pretty red. The breadth is pretty red, but we were getting a lot of things flipping to green. Information technology, healthcare, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, energy, utilities, and real estate. And we're starting to see a lot of these names flip over, right? Apple's up 1%, Microsoft, you know, barely up. Google's looking to go green, Amazon's green, Tesla's green, Nvidia's back to green, Facebook's barely red, Walmart's green. You know, so we got a lot of these top names that are starting to turn over to look to get green here. Let me look on the ES real quick. I want to see these options. Back up to the settle. Let's see. 4,000 is kind of like where the call wall is at. So what I imagine happened here is when we got below that 4,000 again, you got some fear that jumped back in the market, and then when we got down here, you had a bunch of you know, a bunch of people taking profit, a bunch of buy stops pop in. Got absolutely played today, long since like 8 hours ago, got stopped out when we broke below the structure, and when we opened the short on value area retest, DOC, it kept going. Which poker are you trading? Crypto, or are you trading futures? Long since 8. You got long on Globex? Oh, is James in here? Oh, James. Oh, James. Good morning, man. Glad to have you. Glad to see you back. Chris B. Good morning. TGIF. Trin. Good morning. Jamie, I didn't know you had a 16-year-old daughter. That's crazy. I didn't think you were old enough to have a 16-year-old daughter. Oh, you're longing link. That's a tough one. Yeah, so a key thing here, guys, especially, and I'm just going to use the ES as an example, but when you're, well, what am I doing right now? Maybe I got too much sleep. I feel refreshed though, so that's what happened. That's what's necessary. The key thing here is to pay attention to value, right? Remember, we trade value, not price. So yeah, price went down 3%, and you know, popped, or today it went down like 2.5%. Now it's back up to basically even with the settle. But pay attention to value. Value, we have overlapping the past 2 days, and then yesterday we have value overlapping to lower, and then today again we have value overlapping to lower. So value is still down. So until we start to spend time inside yesterday's value area, there's really no point of looking for these long trades until you start to see it, right? In reality, I mean, there is obviously opportunity, right? We just went up what says 100 points. Yeah, it's about 100 points off the low, because that would be 40. It's like 80 points off the low. So a pretty significant amount off the low, right? But until I mean, until we start to establish and start to make value and then push value up higher, especially where I'm looking for is us to get above this FOMC number, there's opportunities to just sell rallies, and it's been a little bit safer. And you guys have seen the pullbacks today, if you've been watching, have been a lot more rewarding early on, right? I took a short right there from the settle, well, before this, and it came down about 8 points. I mean, there's opportunity on both sides, but you just got to pay attention to that value, right? And don't try to time it, just be patient. You want to go outside, kitty? Jesus Christ. GT James on the Discord. Let's see. Oh, I don't even know if I posted this in the Discord either. Did not. We've had a lot of auctions end around this spot, right? We have this previous low, previous low, previous high, up here at 65 or 66. This is an area or a reaction area, an area that you're looking for these responsive sellers to show up and sell again, right? If they don't show up, then chances are you can see where the volume's at up here. There's good odds that it heads up at least to this 66 level. That's what would make sense. Oh, whoa, what happened to my oh, my Zoom just disappeared. Yeah, yesterday's link works. It's the same link every day. It's just some people don't remember to just click on the link, but I just post it every day, just just because it just makes it easier for them. It's like a reminder, like, oh, add everybody. Like, oh yeah, the Zoom's about to start. People. I mean, I lose track of time all the time, so might as well just help them out. A little bit of selling an Apple here, but Amazon's still looking pretty strong. My computer's running kind of slow today too. Kind of annoying. They're starting to see a little bit of selling come in here. You can see here, if we zoom in a little bit, we got some volume up here at the top, and now we're coming back down to the settle. You're seeing a little bit of mechanical buying on the settle. I want to get rid of that overnight, I think. Bitcoin's starting to get some gas here too. And the ES really didn't get as punished as bad. If you look at Bitcoin, didn't get punished as bad as Bitcoin did. But Bitcoin still hasn't broken these previous lows, so you know, not that alarming yet. So close to my 35K that I'm looking for. I think we might get a decent bounce off of 35K, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one more down push for us to get below that 35K and just hang out down there for a second, pop back above, and I kind of want to buy that to try to trade back up into here to this 36.5, 36.3-ish level. I just think there's some opportunity there. Got a little blindsided from the singles. Yeah, that can happen, man. That can definitely happen. You see those singles and you're like, oh, we're going to fill the singles. Let's get through it. But you got to remember, it's so important to remember the trend, right? So if we look at Bitcoin, we want to start on a monthly chart every day, right? Every day when you get on, if the first time you get on, let's just erase all this shit that's on this. What is this? I don't even know you could draw an up and down line.
Hit that little left if you're trying to erase it.
Which one?
The one right below that, the trash can.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. So we look at the monthly, right? And the monthly did break that previous month's low. So we've had a cessation of one time framing. We're one time framing up on the monthly, and now we're breaking that one time framing to the low side. And so the target, you know, for Bitcoin is going to be down here. Well, let's just use this thing. Let's see, what's this low here? Doesn't tell us exactly, but I mean, it's basically like 34,290, right? And so that would be the target for it to get below. It's not necessarily saying that it's going to, but with us breaking down, especially when this month just looks like liquidation, basically, you know, opened up, didn't peaked above a little bit, and then just kind of came straight down. So then we jump onto the weekly, right? And we can see the weekly, the trend is still up, right? The trend still looks pretty decent on the weekly, but now we are one time framing down 1, 2, 3. I don't even know if I count this really, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, one time framing down, right? This week was just kind of an exhaustion week. I don't even know if I would count that on a weekly, but you know, we're pretty much one time framing down, coming into weekly excess, these 2 weekly excesses down here. So you're seeing a little bit of responsive buying, and I mean, we can see volume wise, you know, anywhere from these levels have been bought up before. Weekly, you know, weekly excess. These are pretty, I mean, those are pretty much, like, this doesn't look like a really strong low. So here's the euro close, and this is what I texted my dad earlier. I think we get a pump until the euro close, and then after the euro close happens, the market dumps. So just be careful. I mean, you know, I'm not a forecaster or anything, but we've seen it happen before. Could get a pump too. They might all be short and have to cover. Then we switch over to the daily, right? And so the daily trend obviously is down, right? We're making lower highs. We haven't made a lower low yet, right, in comparison with the market, but you know, sometimes it just seems like it might just be a matter of time us to break this low, get down here, and you know, maybe find some buyers down there. But when you're looking at that, you look on the daily and you can kind of see on a daily, you see some single prints here. So there is some room to the upside, but you've got to think about the trend itself, right? If we get above that high, then yeah, I think that's a good opportunity to go with it, but you've got to wait until we get above that high. So if we were to look at Link, it's a very similar chart. You know, lower highs. But when you look at the daily, right, we had a liquidation and now we had a kind of this look below balance in this daily and coming back into balance. So we're going to want to wait to see acceptance first before we get long, and then your target will become that other side of balance on Link. And even if we zoom in to the 30 minutes, we can see these single prints that you're talking about. Oh, fuck this. Okay. Of course, it's going to pump shorting. I mean, there's opportunity here, but I mean, you can see where the resistance is at, right? You can see that, you know, after this liquidation, the market just kind of balanced for a little bit, looked below, and is kind of coming back in. This is on 30 minutes, right? So we can just see pretty much balance in here. We had this weak low, market came down, fixed the weak low, put in excess, and is now coming back into balance. So what you're looking for, especially where, I mean, kind of all over, but as it's coming into balance, look for either acceptance or a rejection. And where is, actually, we can just go back to this other chart. Oops. Market's coming down here a little bit, guys. This is kind of what we expected with the whole euro close deal. But yeah, so you see Link just popped off that point of control and is now coming back down to fill these, well, I guess they wouldn't be single prints, depending upon the profile that you're looking at, 24-hour profile, obviously not. And so, I mean, you have such a strong point of control. It's point of control from yesterday, point of control from today. You can kind of expect that reaction off there. So what I would be looking for it to come down, Link to come down maybe like 1071 area. To see if it's gonna hold. It looks like this is the VPOC down here as well. The VPOC hasn't shifted up yet either. So it might come straight back down to this VPOC, 1067. The market's coming down a little bit here too. Remember, I think the target is this 4100, 4099. There'll probably be some buyers there, maybe at the Globex low as well in the open, but I think that target is at 4100. And underneath the 4100, the fear starts to kick in more. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could look at AMD. AMD's actually looked pretty strong today. Yeah. They're getting a bounce off that top though. Can I get rid of this? There we go. Starting to pick up on the low side, making a lower high. Values shifting a little bit higher each day, especially today. AMD was kind of the leader on the upside today, where you saw a lot of stocks going down this morning, and AMD didn't. I mean, AMD took one bar down, but then started to come up, you know, pretty dramatically, right? Opened up here, came down a little bit, didn't break yesterday's low, and then started to pop up. As it's coming back into the today's VPOC, you might get a little bit of buying there because the market's coming close to the open. But if the market keeps going back below the open and we do crack below 4100, the fear starts to set back in, and then people start selling stuff off, especially on a Friday, in my opinion. But like I said, this was just the euro close, and a lot of times on the euro close, if we popped up during, like, you know, leading into the euro close, we'll sell off at the end. And, you know, that's kind of what's going on. Oh, what's up?
Is that 93.49 the POC for AMD?
93, no, 93.49 is this was my buy zone, 93.49 to 85. This was like where I was
What's the
buying
POC?
AMD.
What's the daily POC?
The daily point of control
Oh, is right
is,
kind of where it is right now.
yeah, it's right at it. It's hitting it. And the market's hitting the open right now, so it might get a little bit of a bounce. It would make sense to have some buyers kind of come in the market, especially if we look at Apple. I think Apple's telling us the same thing. Yeah, Apple's kind of coming right back to its point of control as well. So, but if we do crack it, you could see some more downside. It did leave a poor low yesterday, but AMD has been kind of, still has some gaps. I still think, I still think that there is some downside in this market. So I'm a little bit biased. The market just looks weak. Everything that we're getting information wise doesn't look, doesn't look kosher. I mean, if we look at bonds, like, my God, it's just a massacre in there. Like, the bonds market already crashed. You know what I mean? So if you look at like, we look at like the ZN.
Well, the sectors have been jumping all over today.
Yeah, because nobody knows where to put their money. Everyone's trying to find a safe hole to put their money in, and there's no safe holes anymore. Every time you put your hand in the hole, it gets bit. And so everyone's, starting to panic. And that's why I think like today, especially because there's a ton of gamma on that 4100, which is just basically there's a ton of puts sold, a ton of 4100 puts that got sold on Monday that are going to expire today. If we start to get late in the day below 4100, dealers are going to have to sell the market in order to hedge that bet, and the market will probably head lower. And that's why I think this 4100 is going to be a big battle zone today. But I mean, if we're looking at some of these bonds, let's just switch this to, oh, here, let's just go over here. I mean, this is 2019 or 2018 here level, right? This is 2020. Bonds were all the way up, and bonds are all the way back down to that 2018 level, right? So if we were to switch to the ES here and look at the ES from 2018, which is here, it rallied and then dipped again and then rallied. So, maybe a little bit of this is what we're seeing. Might get a significant low. A lot of people are comparing it to like 2008 and 2020 and a lot of things. I look back in history to compare, because I do like to see what's happened before, just so I can kind of start to anticipate maybe what can happen in the future. But you've got to remember that every black swan event, let's call it, is not, there's no preparing for it, right? You can't necessarily just be, gosh, this is the best trade ever. You can't necessarily just be prepared for a black swan. Like I don't think it's possible, but that's mechanical buying off the halfback, probably heading lower. You can't necessarily be like, oh, this is what's going to happen. This has happened in 2008. And like, so like right now you're buying, like swaps on mortgage rates or mortgage loans, right? Because it's not going to happen the exact same way that it did before. The only thing we can do is just use that information on things to watch, what triggers happened before, and kind of prepare. That's how we were able to find the corn play so early. That's how I think that this steel play is going to keep working out. And these, I mean, we've been ready for this for, I mean, since January. People that have been in the Zoom with us, we've been kind of figuring this. I thought we were going to get a little bit more of a pop on the earnings, and we did. I mean, we did get a pretty decent pop if you look at the market, right? The market during earnings gave us a pretty decent move. But And then also, you know, like I haven't had this, you know, opportunity like Peter Resnicek and Jim Dalton that have been in the game for 40 years, 50 years, you know, and traded through tons of bear markets and stuff like that. And so, you know, I am 100% humble enough to, you know, let you guys know that I don't know, right? I have no idea how this bear market, if this is bear market, how it's going to trade. I can just, you know, look at history and then listen to people that I trust. Another guy that I like that's been around for a long time is Tom Sosnoff, and he trades over on Tasty Trade. I mean, I like all those guys at Tasty Trade for the most part. I don't think I don't think there's anybody on there that I don't like. They trade options. Yeah, who knew that? Like every mentor of mine trades options, and I don't. That's where I started at. I started in the options game. It's just it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than this. This simplifies it. This is a little bit more punishing sometimes, but it's easier. Futures is what I'm talking. Futures is a little bit easier. Do you guys like it like this, or would you rather have it zoomed in? Morning, Patrick. Alex,
I like this.
I did see that news about Shopify. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna be looking up that after the market today, actually.
Yeah, I like to see. I like to see what's going on here. This looks okay.
Okay.
The way it's. I mean, for my personal opinion.
I'm zoomed in on my screen, so having yours, yours is always on its own dedicated screen. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this works. Yeah, because I mean, it's helpful to have it zoomed out like this. One, because it helps you not be so it helps you not be so zoomed in to the market, and then you start to over trade, and it also helps you see these prior ranges of the prior days. Chemical, this is called a TPO, right, or market profile chart, and this lets us track value. Basically what it is, if we zoom in on it here, you'll see that every letter is a representation of a 30-minute period. And then the volume profile that I have on here, red is the highest, white is the second highest, dark blue is third, and then this light blue is fourth. Volume comparison wise, right? As far as strength. So we can see our VPOC is still down here, even though we have 5 TPOs wide now here at the open, only, you know, three and 4 down here. Well, no, it's only 3 here. Yeah, 3 here. And the VPOC still hasn't shifted up. We are seeing some volume move up, but not as much as we would like to see if we were going to get continuation to the upside, right? So I don't think we are. I don't know for sure. So basically, yeah, this is just a chart that lets us track value. If you're interested in learning how to use it, you know, let me know and I'll send you a link to our Discord. You can join our Discord. It's free. And you tune in with us every single day on the stream. I stream pretty much every single day from about 8 a.m. Pacific time till whenever the team is ready to call it a day. And then, yeah, you know, just out here kicking it, freestyle. If you're interested in learning how to trade fast and slow, right? Well, the market moves fast, but we still stay slow. You know, that's the way we do it here. We are patient. We wait for the trade to come to us, and you know, we have a pretty consistent rate this year. I feel like we've done pretty well. Not too many really bad days this year. There's been a few though. Not gonna lie. There has been a few.
You're like the king of consistent.
Yeah, that's just because I'm such a cheapskate. I just manage risk like so much. I was actually talking to James yesterday. I was going over we were going over trades and stuff, and my trade performance. Where the fuck's it at? For this week, Monday. Okay. My average winning trade was 13.82 points, 8 on the long side, 19 on the downside. My average losing trade was 3.5 points. But also I had my largest losing trade this week was 32 points. So it's pretty. I've taken some fucking losses. My largest winning trade this week was 101 points. So
Gosh,
but I'm not trading I'm not trading big size. Like when it happens like this, like I wait for my spots. Like I shorted, where's this short at? The 46.75 and where is this? 46, I guess 46 flat. My thing's on 2 ticks, so it's hard to tell. It's like 40, it's like right in between 46, but just 2 lots, and then I just just like sit here, and I'm just like, I want to close it right now. I really do, but I just have that feeling, and I've just been getting kind of comfortable with that, working on just staying, low 1-2 lot trades, but letting them really work, because the volatility, I mean, we're getting 100-point ranges on the ES every single day for like 2 weeks almost now, right? Like what's the ATR on the ES? Let me see on a daily.
You're in a short now?
I am in a short, but I'm in a short from 46, or like 46.75 pretty much. So I got short on that euro close.
yeah, I'm trying to practice being more patient and letting them work out like that, like doing slow trades.
Yeah, and I think, like, the big thing is, if you can just practice that with just one MES slot, right, and give yourself a little bit of room, right? Don't try to like give yourself a stop of 3 points, right? If you're, especially on days like this where we've moved, I mean, just crazy 2% down, and then now we're back basically to the open. But give yourself like a 10 point, like let's say you wanted to go long down here, right? But you're like, I don't know where, and I want to make sure I put my stop below that previous low. Well, here's 64. Give yourself, say if I buy it here at 74, right, or 72, I can give myself this much room on one MES slot, because I'm looking for 40 more points to the up. And so this becomes a 4-to-1 trade, right? And this is why the sim is so important, because you want to practice this on the sim naturally before you start doing this live. But when you start to do this, you start to hit consistency on the MES, and then you can step up. Then you take 2 contracts, and your first one takes off wherever you're comfortable, and then you add a runner. The hard part is when you get in a trade and it does go really well, and then all of a sudden it starts to fade, but your target was here, and so it starts to fade, and then you cut it, and then boom, it starts to go, and then it hits your target, right? That's that's something that I still struggle with. I struggled with it last week, and that's why I've been so focused on this week not having that happen. And I've been really patient in letting the trades work out. I've taken, well, today I'm in puts, but the way I was able to hit 100 points yesterday was because I shorted the close and held them through the close. So I held them all through Globex. I didn't even look at Globex because I didn't want to be mad if it didn't go my way. I was just texting James and having him tell me, yes, bad. But he traded through Globex, so if he was
Yeah,
trading all through Globex, you know that it was going down.
I watched some of those Jim Dalton videos yesterday, and the trade I took a while ago was kind of based off some of the stuff that I had learned from that video. So appreciate you recommending those. There's so much
Yeah.
good information.
Dude, so much. It's gold in there. Yeah, there's so much. I was watching a video last night on the same page while I was sitting at the computer staring at the screen thinking about doing the trade view. And I was like, I'm so tired. I don't have any effort to type anything up. I'm sorry about that, guys. That's 2 days in a row. I've just been, you know what it is? I know what it is, and I'll be honest. It's because I've stayed up playing video games at night. Not last night. Last night I went to bed super early, but the 2 nights before that, I stayed up super late playing video games with Jared. He's a fucking bad influence.
You're the sum total of who you hang around with, right?
I'm gonna start charging him to play video games with me. Like, all right, I'll play video games with you, but I don't have to charge you. What video? Where's the history?
Because it kind of forces me to like, okay, what would Brad do right here? What? All right, let me start with the monthly. Let me go down. You know, I have to kind of do it myself instead of just reading what you put out. So it's helped me, I think. You know.
Yeah, and I'd love to see you. I mean, if you guys want to post your like trade views or trade plans, starting to pick up some tempo to the downside here, guys. We're back below the open. Let's pay attention to see if volume is going to come in here. Zoom in a little bit. This is the video I was watching last night. It's Jim Dalton monitoring how to monitor for continuation, right? I've been talking about this. This video is from 2017, but the information is there, and Jim, he knows it all, been doing it forever. So, and this is what I'm talking about, how when we pull up the daily, we had been talking about the most important thing here is that we need to monitor for continuation outside of this 12-month trading range. Yeah, we got that nice little bounce, but now we're back outside of this weekly bounce. And so is this a rejection? The rejection target is going to be this low, right? My target is this 40.37. And if we can conspiracy theory, I don't know if it's conspiracy, we can Brad theory here real quick. I think that the market is going to come here into this gap. And let me show you the reason. Or let me just zoom this. Well, it's a long time ago, so we're going to have to give us some more time. We'll go 4 years. Okay. So here's this gap, right? If we zoom in on this day here, if you will with me, this is how gaps work. This is the excess in this bar. Okay, that's how excess works. Gaps are a form of excess. So what I'm thinking is, and I don't know if it'll happen today, even though I do think it's gonna happen today, but it could not, who knows? I have some mystery. But I think it is gonna happen today. I think the market's gonna come down into this gap, and maximum fear, we have like our little like fear and greed meter, right? Well, this thing's just gonna be fucking dead, 0. And everyone's gonna start selling all their shit, and Monday is gonna be like this. And it might not be straight up, but I think there's gonna be selling. People are, because maximum fear is gonna probably last for a little bit. And if we look over at the VIX here, the VIX is up another 4%, 32 today. But what we could see is this a little balance, and then the rip up when people are thinking that it's time to sell because they're not paying attention to this excess. So unless we come through the gap and we close the excess, that becomes a different story. But if we come down inside this excess today and don't fill it and bounce, you know, we still monitor for continuation, and monitoring for continuation is still the most important thing here. So we're still not like flipping, but we definitely, that's going to make me a big skeptic on any more downside, at least temporarily, because oftentimes the market can get a bit too short, and oftentimes that's caused by emotion, and, you know, emotion being panic and fear, capitulation. So it just seems like there might be opportunity. And then what I'm looking at is some names. I still got to dig into it this weekend, which I'm not going to have a lot of time because I have to go to a wedding. But that sucks. Forgot about that. Oh, I'm not a people person. Like I actually, I'm not a forced people person. Like if like going to like an event, like I'm not into that. But like I like talking to, like, you know, the guy that works at the gas station. Sometimes I talk to him for like 20 minutes. But, you know, like a forced event where you're like forced to be there with other people, it seems, I don't like it. Before what open? What are you talking about? Oh, I wish I could say your name, but I cannot. Con. Second symbol is like a omega symbol. So I'm gonna imagine that you're Greek, right? And then I still won't pretend to know your name. But before what open are we talking about, my man? All right, here comes the battle zone, 4100. And I also posted on Twitter yesterday, can anyone say 4037? So, you know, kind of need that to happen. This is my first post on Twitter in about, you know, fucking 90 days. So most of the time I'm just retweeting stuff. It seems I mean, that doesn't seem to me, it's like it's a lot of effort to just, like, you know, these people put in, you see these people posting on Twitter like all fucking day. I'm wondering to myself, like, how do they have time to trade, or how do they have time to you know, actually understand the market in a way that they need to? Like, they're always constantly flipping over to Twitter. I mean, I guess if you had one of those speak to type things, that's what Jim Dalton has. Maybe I should buy one of those.
Man, I keep finding myself like not wanting to take the risk, so I'll only do one lot when like it's the perfect setup. Like I shorted at 41.48, but it was only one lot, so I want to make sure it don't turn into a losing trade. So I always take profit fast, and I don't know. I guess you got to get used to taking the risk.
Yeah, it'll come, TJ. It will come. Just, yeah, you'll just start getting more comfortable with it. It'll come. And then just remember to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. Make sure you have your trade mapped out. So, like, you know, where are you thinking that the target is versus where can you put your stop realistically that you know you're wrong. So let's say you said you went short 48. 48. Oh, you took like almost the exact same short as me. You're actually better entry. So, because you took it off that point of control. Genius. So yeah, so let's say for you to be wrong, I would say we'd have to take out the Globex high, because this high not taking out that Globex high and it being the last and the Euro close, it's kind of what gave me the insight to be like, oh, weakness, right?
Yeah.
But so let's say you put your stop here 58, you went short 48, so you got a 10-point stop, and your target probably going to be, you know, at least the Globex low, or I mean at least maybe 10 points down, right, from the Globex point of control, that's where you would be willing to cut it, right? And so you've just gotta just think about it in terms like that, right? Like, so even this is a 1-to-1 trade, right? And it worked out quick. So when these trades work out quick, you can move your stop. So boom, like let's, because this trade did work out fairly quick. E opened up, didn't really move, and then came down. Your stop is here. It's in profit, right? Just let it work to wherever, you know, wherever this target was at, this Globex low. Just let it work out. You know what I mean? It'll give you that more confidence because no matter what, it's gonna be there, right? You come back, yeah, you only made 2 points here, but what's your average winning trade? Would you say? Yeah, what would you say, just off the top of your head? What do you think your average winning trade is?
Probably 2 or 3 points.
See, so in that case, you're able to manage risk right off the bat and still feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, after watching that video yesterday, that's what gave me the confidence in the trade. You know, we had that poor low, of course. So, and I was trying to type in the chat. I'm trying to get better at like saying my thoughts or whatever. So, you know, before D even came up there, you know, I was like, hey, you know, seeing some bearish divs starting to form, looking to see how we react at yesterday's POC. And then when we started coming back down, that's when I entered. I was just scared to risk too much, you know.
Right,
I didn't want to mind because I hate losing. I don't want to lose money.
All right, so let's talk about that. That's actually even better that you said that you hate losing. And this is a common thing, especially in just I mean kind of human nature, right? We are not creatures that like to lose. But in trading and in really a lot of things that are done professionally, loss should be your best friend almost, right? And not because you want to just fucking lose all the time, but because that's how you're going to improve. Because if you're just winning every trade, I mean, you're probably not testing your edge, and then you're just not living up to your full potential, right? And then what happens from that is bad habits develop. You become, you know, sometimes lackadaisical, and then you start to go on, you know, losing rampages. But we in reality can't really learn without loss, right? It's just not possible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find.
Are you still in your short?
Yeah, I'm still gonna
Okay,
hold it.
Just curious. What's the index?
Yeah, I think my problem is like one of the things that Jim mentioned in the video I was watching yesterday is there's like several different kinds of traders. You know, there's slow traders, which is what he is, and which I think Brad, what you are. You know, you're waiting for that trade to come to you, you get in that trade, and then you ride it all the way to wherever you thought it was going to go, right? And then there's like fast traders, which would be like I guess the scalpers or whatever, which is so like I feel like I go back and forth between seeing a fast trade, you know, like these scalps, and then also seeing a slow trade, which is I think what this last one was. So one thing that Jim mentioned yesterday is like you have to know which one you are, because if you get in a fast trade and you start treating it like a slow trade, then it's going to come back and it's just going to be a loss every time. Or if you get in a slow trade and you're treating it like a fast trade, you're not going to give it time to go your way or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And I think that's
I like that.
what I got to figure out.
And I think you can be both, because I do a lot of scalping, like when I'm in a trade to like either to hedge, like I'll get onto the NASDAQ or the Dow and take some longs, or I'll just add to my short and take short profit in between, like on a bounce like this. All right, now we have mechanical F high and F low. I'm trying to find this reading yesterday.
Yeah, it's starting to catch a little momentum to the upside here.
It is, yeah.
That that F low, of course, we see the poor low on the E and F, but it put in a bullish divergence too.
What's the divergence on?
I said when that F low came down and created that poor low with E and F, it also put in a bullish divergence.
No, what are you get? What indicators given the bullish divergence? I mean,
Oh, I'm looking at like the momentum RSI and the price.
okay. Well, maybe it wasn't this book then. And quite the bounce here.
So now we got a poor low at the bottom and like the EF. Got like two poor lows.
Right, and remember this has happened before. This is about to make me just cut my short off. Just keep riding the Nasdaq up. The Nasdaq's ripping right now. This happened before.
One thing Jim mentioned yesterday is when you get a poor low, I want to say he said that it's like an indication that people got too short or something like that. Like if people get too short, it can put in a poor low.
Right.
Price up right back up.
Especially when that poor low is put inside of an excess, which is what happened today. And this has happened. Where the fuck is this thing at? Oh, it's all the way over here. This has happened before. What has? Here. I don't know. I can't find it. There we go. So a little bit of a bounce there, and now we're coming back down. Little volume there. It's hard to get comfortable when you keep losing. When you have a tiny account, you really have to minimize your losses. That's why, I mean, that's why you gotta go for the sim, Alex, and then you know, practice those longer trades. I'm trying to find, but I cannot find it. Let me see if I can. Russian inflation's at 17%. Not that that matters really for us, but just came across Twitter. I'll have to find it in the book I was listening to. If you guys are interested in a good read, that the book that I'm reading right now called The Black Swan is so interesting. it's such a weird look on things. Starting to pick up some tempo here to the downside and some volume coming in. Can we just go to 40.37 real quick? That's so much status.
That's one thing I've thought about a few times. It was a couple of days ago. Just thinking about like back in history and Great Depression, stock market, all this stuff. I'm like, I wonder if something crazy like that happened, if Brad would trade the market.
Yeah, of course. This is like what I do. So I'm not trying to do anything else. I mean, like, so our plan, like, because I'm prepping for something like that. I think within the next 10 years, shit's gonna get a lot worse than it is right now. And I think maybe 10 years from now is probably when another world war kicks off eventually. Things drag on these days because of politics, right? We don't just go over there and just kick their ass and ignore the Geneva Convention and fucking strap grenades to medics and stuff anymore. We have rules and shit. We don't do stuff like that.
All about sanctions.
And so it's exactly, so it's all about sanctions and stuff. And eventually this stuff is going to cause people damage. You'll see it in Europe before you see it in the States, naturally, because they're closer to it and they get a lot of supplies from Russia. And most of the countries in Europe are not really self-sustaining countries. They don't produce a lot of power, especially with the amount of power consumption that humans use today, given the internet and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I'm preparing for stuff like this. Been preparing for stuff like this for, a significant amount of time, honestly. And I don't plan on being outside doing that stuff. That's why my brother comes in. My brother's a farmer, so that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna homestead. He's gonna do all of our outside shit, and I'll just make money on the internet. And we'll be set. We've got a forest, and they say 10 acres of forest can sustain a family just off of the wood that dies. So we actually have like 30 acres of a forest, but we're gonna cut all that shit down and build some houses, and then keep 10 acres of just dead wood. And then we have a pond that can be, used as a reservoir. I'm just ready for that shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready for that.
I know. I've been been for a while. All this money printing just drags it on, drags it out, but inevitably is going to happen, just a matter of time.
And then it really just comes down to what people need versus what they want, right? And so we see looting sometimes, and people steal TVs and just shit because everyone else is doing it or whatever. But this most recent, during COVID, you kind of saw, and this is what I talk about, you see people, this is what I was talking about yesterday, you see people's true colors when stuff like this happens. People fucking went crazy. There was people buying toilet paper on the internet and then fucking selling it to make a profit, right? And so what do you think's going to happen when there's a food shortage and one person has all the food? That's what I'm saying. I'm not just acquiring, food, I don't want to get banned on YouTube 2 days in a row, but like, I'm not just preparing to eat through this fucking mess that's going to be coming along. I understand what's going to happen because there's people out there that are like me. Like, deep down, I'm a savage, right? I'm not nice. I can be mean. I am nice, but I can be mean, and I'm good at it, right? And I enjoy it. It's terrible, but I do it. Huh?
So you've perfected that skill, huh?
Well, that's why my mom would always tell me I'm like Saint Michael. She's like, you know what? Sometimes bad stuff has to happen. And sometimes good people are the ones that have to do that bad stuff. And she's like, that's you. and so like, you know, I've just
Yeah.
been comfortable
Hammer.
with it. Yeah, I mean, and it's in, and I know I'm not the only one, you know what I mean? And so when push comes to shove, and people are having, you know, these food scarcities, think about what you'll do to feed your family, you know. And I always talk about the Donner Party. I don't know if anyone knows. I mean, everyone that's from California should know about the Donner Party, but apparently on the East Coast they might not teach it because my wife didn't know about it. But
Never heard of it, bro.
it's crazy. So the Donner Party, I'm gonna just pull it up. The Donner Party came to California through the Nevada mountains, right? I mean, they came from a lot farther, but they were coming through the Nevada mountains. It started to snow and they got stuck, basically, right? And so they were covered wagon. This is back in the day. You know, I think this is in the 1800s, 1840s. And they, I mean, long story short, they had to fucking eat each other, family members, to survive.
Oh gosh.
You know, and so if you think, like, if, I mean, not you specifically, but if anyone thinks that you know, that shit won't happen again, if it comes down to that, you're just kidding yourself, you know. If you think that people aren't savage like that, even the people that seem good now, even some people that wear a white collar to work every day, if you think some of those people aren't savages and won't, you know, fucking eat you to survive, then you're, you know, you're just kidding yourself,
Survival trumps everything.
you know.
Yeah, like I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, I could never like see somebody kill a chicken and then eat it or whatever." I'm like, "Shoot, if you were starving, I bet you could."
I had 2 pet turkeys as a kid. I like, they were actually nice, because if you guys ever been around turkeys, they're fucking evil. But these 2 turkeys were nice, and my I did it. It's like a traumatic event, because like I lived in Texas for a couple of years as a kid, from like 4 to 6, and we had my grandpa. I lived with my grandpa. My grandpa had a farm, and it was Thanksgiving, and we were eating turkey, and I'm like, "Hey, Grandpa, don't tell Fred and Barney," because my turkeys' names were Fred and Barney. I said, "Hey, don't tell Fred and Barney about this." And he said, "Boy, this is Fred and Barney. I'm not gonna waste money when I got 2 perfectly good turkeys." I was like, I immediately fucking ran from the table, ran outside to try to find them. They were dead. He had killed them, fed them to us. Didn't even let me know.
Man, what
And
are you
then
gonna tell you?
my he told my mom that it was her fault, because he's like, "Well, why didn't you tell him? This is what we do. We eat animals. We grow them ourselves." I'm like, "Oh shit." And so then that was the day I was like, "Oh shit, animals are food, not friend."
Crazy.
And I mean, that's what I think people will be like. I mean, and that's where like
Yeah.
a lot of this zombie talk comes from, because, you know, there's studies that say that if you eat human flesh, it kind of messes with some chemical in your brain, and it makes you kind of crazy. Well, I mean, just saying.
In Venezuela, I think it was Venezuela, whenever the hyperinflation and everything was getting bad, you know, everybody was starving, and man, there was like pictures I've seen of people like breaking into like the local zoo and like eating all the animals and stuff. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's just nuts. Yeah, that's, you know, if you're starving, that's what you'll do. You know, sorry, fucking
Yeah,
buddy, dog, or whatever. Like, that's it.
either
You're first.
you know, or lay down and starve, but like your human instinct, just you can't just lay there and do nothing. You know, it's like you're gonna fight to survive.
You wonder if someone fed you some human a few years ago. I know for sure that I've eaten dog when I was in Korea. This thing's looking, I mean, it didn't come back down to that poor low here. It picked up some tempo and kind of ran out of steam around this 05 level. Or the 01 level, I mean. 5 to 1 is kind of just like a weak level here.
Yeah, if we stay above that 4,100, I think we're going to trade back up.
I think I would agree. I think you're right. Oh yeah, Alex, that's tough then. Yeah. The movie Alive. What movie is that? Let me see. Have I seen it?
It's about that soccer team, I think. They got
In the Andes,
crash
right?
landed. Yeah, in the Andes.
Yeah, yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's that craziness. What's up, Tommy? Apple's almost back up 1% here. Nasdaq's trying to make a higher high, but struggling a little bit. But it's still Nasdaq still looks good. It's above its open as well. But a lot of the markets are struggling. XLC looks like it's struggling a little bit. XLP, XLF. I mean, they're just kind of consolidating, but you know, good breakout though. A lot of buying coming in the market right here. We were just talking about eating people, Tommy, so you showed up at the perfect time. A lot of buying coming in.
This is the other emotion that I always have to face is like after I win that first trade, I don't want to be on the computer for 6 hours and then end negative. So I'm like always hesitant to take that second trade, because I don't want to give the money.
Right. Yeah, I definitely understand that for sure. Yeah, there's nothing worse than staying on the computer all day and then just finishing red. Like if I want to be on the computer all day, I better make $1 million. Hypothetical.
We all know you're making millions, Brad. Don't lie.
Not yet. I haven't made $1 million in a year ever. Maybe one day. One day when I manage more money or something. One day when I'm president, I'll manage the fucking investments of the U.S. economy. Then you'll see some fucking. You guys will see that deficit start to go down finally. I'll be chunking that shit hard.
I was actually wondering yesterday, watching Jim Dalton, he's like, I mean, the way he just talks and everything, he knows what he's talking about. And he's teaching all this stuff, right? And I'm like, if you have all this knowledge, why wouldn't you just trade bigger size or, keep going up or whatever instead of trying to sell a course, because I was just thinking of it from like a business perspective. Like it looked like he had someone helping him do it all. And there's a website and all this stuff.
Right.
And
their website's pretty high tech, even though it doesn't seem like it.
Like what, like when you're that good, right? Like when you've proven yourself that you're a good trader, what stops you from just trading bigger and trading bigger and trading bigger? Like, do you still have the same feelings as when you're getting started? Going from $100 to $500. Like, is it that same? You have to get used to the size, or you just going to risk it?
No, you. It's like fucking jumping in the water all over again. Because the emotions are just, I mean, they're just different, right? Like taking that step from the MES to the ES is just different. Like it's hard to explain it, and that's kind of why I think at a lot of like prop firms or trading firms, people's trading accounts eventually, like when they become like a PM or something, they'll only have a X amount of size, right? Because some people, when it gets to that point, just having that much risk on, because that's ultimately what it is. It's not really like, oh, I've got bigger size. It's I'm risking more money. And so when that happens, it's the psychology. And so if they don't have that strong psychology, it's going to be tough. That's why scalpers, like ES scalpers, your psychology has to be, it's got to be sharp, because you've got to be willing to get in, and that thing's got to be, if it doesn't work right away, you've just got to close it, right? Like scalpers are trade like, you know, hundreds of lots every single day, and you know, probably 75% of those were losers or break evens, right? They're just in and out, boom, you know, couple ticks here, couple ticks there, but they're not worried about it because they're putting on fucking size. So when that size does hit, it hits, right? You know, they get in 10, 20, 30, 40 lots, and that thing goes up 10, 20, 30, 40 points. Well, they just made, you know, 10 grand, 20 grand. So losing a couple, you know, 1,000 on this trade is not going to affect them. Whereas for me, like if I lose $1,000 on this trade, I'm going to be pissed, right? Like just the rest of my day is going to be shit. It's not going to be catastrophic, but I'm not going to be happy. And that's because I'm still working on my psychology when it comes to things like this, because I'm like you, TJ. I hate fucking losing. I hate it. I don't let my kids win at anything. You know what I mean? Like if they beat me at something, then they earned it. They don't. They're not big enough yet. But like, you know, that's how much I hate losing. I'm not like, oh, you know, my daughter's going for a layup. I'm like, psych. Better fucking learn how to shoot, because that shit ain't coming inside. I'm way bigger than you. It's never gonna happen. Why would you try to take it inside against a big guy? You know, like imagine if you're Curry and you're trying to take it inside on Shaq, right? Curry's a little creative. He'll probably get it in there, but you guys catch my drift here. It's like a whole new process. That's why I say start with the MES. You know, 1 contract, 2 contracts, 3 contracts. But I mean, if you can't consistently trade profitable 1 contract on the MES, you'll never do it on the ES. That's a fact. A lot of people think that they can skip that step. It's just not how it works. And if someone can show me that they've done it, they've never traded the MES, they've never worked with the sim, and they just jumped on the ES and they were just nailed it, and they didn't run out of money in their learning process because they were always winning, I'd love to see it. You know, that'd be
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. At some point, you got to replenish that account because you done blew it up.
yeah. Oh, facts. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm definitely fucking drained that shit. I've been to the point where I'm just like calling the broker like, fuck, I need more money in there. They're like, nah, bro, you gotta chill till the end of the month. Yeah. Right, exactly, Alex. Like if you're trading that bigger size, there is a like a tier in. That's why like when we're looking at the market and we're looking for, you know, bigger money to come in, right? They've got to, if they're going to responsibly buy, they've got to be buying it, you know, buying it like that, right? They're not just going to be able to be like us and be like, oh, I'm going to take, you know, 2 lots long here and trade it out here. They're not going to be able to fill 100 lots, right? Well, 100 they might be able to fill, but a lot of these people, you know, they're filling like 10,000 lot orders. So yeah, they might fill 100 here, but 100 all the way up. Then they have 10,000 lots, and they're, you know, probably holding these positions, right? Not just getting rid of them. Yeah, that's definitely true too, Tommy. Like those higher amounts, like yeah, one MES point can really just like wipe out a whole day, or 1 ES point could wipe out a whole day of the MES trading. Yeah. Is the quad essential part of your trading plan? I feel something I need to research and understand more. I do look at it constantly. Yeah, it's on my screen all the time. So I have like I have a TPO on my other screen with my DOM, and then I have the Thinkorswim, and then I switch back between like the flex grid and the one with all the charts on it, and then the stream. That's pretty much all I'm looking at. And then I have like, you know, Internet Explorer, Chrome. There is some good videos on it though. I can post them for you. Here we go. Let me copy this link. I'll post it in the Zoom and the YouTube. Yeah, exactly, James. Yeah, I do the same thing. Like when I go to the school and stuff, and like playing with my son and like his friends, I'll just fucking smack that ball across the street. So look here, GLO peaks below the open and then comes back above, right? We've seen some volume come down inside there, but we really haven't traded back to that EF low, that poor low. And then we do have also a poor low down here, or weak low, I guess you call this one a poor low. Only thing that kind of is making me think that this low is mechanical is where it's at, right? It's right at that prior day low. That is very, I don't know, very suspicious to me. So, especially because we are, you know, value is lower today. And remember, it's important. Let's say even if we do break this EF low and fix it and maybe come down, you know, a little bit below that low or something, it's not necessarily saying that we just want to get short and are expecting to break this poor low, right? The way that we expect for this poor low to break is when price gets a little bit lower, right? We can't just be like, oh, well, there's two poor lows below, let me short, and then hope that it falls. It's just not how it works. Unfortunately, if it was that easy, that'd be just ideal. Like, oh, two poor lows, short, right? I'll tell you what, Alex, if I did get to run like the investment account for the US, there would be you know, there would definitely be less bailouts. I'll tell you that right away. That would be the step one. In a capitalist environment, that's what makes it you know, a free market, is things fail. Right? Small businesses fail all the time. And these huge corporations are small businesses that didn't fail. You know, you don't start as a huge corporation. You start small, you work your way up in every sense, right? Like look at Morgan Stanley, Pop Shop back in the day, and now it's like one of the biggest names. So, you know, but sometimes these older companies that don't get with the times, they deserve to fucking fail. And, you know, the US bailing them out isn't the best idea.
Blockbuster.
Right, look at I mean, yeah, Blockbuster, they let that go under. But like, I mean, the airlines, right? They should have let a lot of the airlines go bust.
They had bad business models.
Terrible. And the US was like, "Oh, what a great investment." I'm like, what the fuck? Didn't you just see Warren Buffett sell all his shit? Like, what are you doing? And now with oil going up, let's see where oil's at today. Oil's up 2% today, up at 110. Right, that's not great for travel. Even though some travel stocks are going up, I think they're probably prime for a shorting here. And we're coming into summer when energy consumption, I think, is at its highest peak. And energy is not cheap right now.
Brad, how close do the letters have to be to consider it like a 45? Like you could almost draw a line down the top of that.
Right here?
From the top of G to the top of F to the top of E.
Oh, yeah, like this. Honestly, I don't really look for the 45 on the top, to be honest
Things
with
are
you.
dipping.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big move.
Starting to get going. Back below the open. So this is where it stalled last time. See if they can get it going. And notice the tempo now. So this is the second time we've had faster tempo on the way down. Got a little bit of a bounce. Tempo's starting to pick up a bit. So still not making any like real lower lows. It came back below the open, tempo ran away, and then boom, it popped back above the open.
My son just came in here to ask me a question. He's like, "Why do you have your shoes on?"
You guys don't wear shoes in the house, probably?
Since I'm home all the time, I feel like I never wear shoes. I just walk around barefoot all day.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing shoes?
I'm at work. And it's perfect too because like for me at least, like I as soon as we get off, I just go work out. So I just have like my wrestling shoes on and then go work out after. Pretty decent pump back up there. Let's see if it follows through. A lot of action on this 24 today. Been back and forth between this level a lot.
Yeah, like between 16 and 27 has been like a little chop zone the last 30 minutes or however long.
And you can see Bitcoin rejected lower prices, but it has some volume down here. Let me pull it up. Let's try real quick. I'll pull up Bitcoin again. So watch this push on the buyer here. So there's probably a buyer right here trying to buy, around the Globex low. He's been tested once, able to get some people taking profit. Got tested twice and held. Let's see if they test them again. So as it gets below the open, pay attention to if the market comes like this, right? So it comes to the open and gets really tight range. Because right now we're going like this, right? We've been kind of just bouncing up and down. Wait for it to get a little bit tight, and that is probably going to be our sign that seller is moving down. If we don't, we get a little response and a bounce back up like we've had the past two times, then that'll tell us that we might be getting another one of these bad boys. And we've got a new bar coming in not what's that, 20 minutes, so not for a little while actually. Seeing some buying coming in the market here now. And then it just fades right back down. It's interesting. Yeah, interesting little price action right here. See, it's just bouncing around. This is a spot where you really don't want to be playing.
Every time you say that, I feel like so the fact that I'm in a trade, I didn't get in at this point, but I'm just in from before.
Yeah, I'm still in my short as well. I've just added to it and taken off a couple of times now. But if we keep not dancing below this open, or keep just dancing above this open and not getting below it, it's gonna start to frustrate me. What did I want to look? So this is what I was kind of talking about on Bitcoin, right? It's forming this P profile, and you did get some action down here. And so it seems kind of like this pop is just short covering, and there's good odds that, you know, I mean, yeah, we didn't get a lot of volume on the low, but there is some volume here. And unless this thing does end up breaking up past that Globex point of control, good odds that it comes back down. That was all. Which profile do you guys like better? This one? This doesn't show the Globex, or like the bars though. I still haven't seen these sectors break out over their highs, but they are trying. And so let me pull this over real quick. You can see we've got technology here still coming up off of those lows. XLV coming up off the lows, XLY, XLF. This is the NASDAQ coming up off those lows, XLC and XLP. We can see the tick, right? The tick's been up, and you know, we're now getting that 20 moving average, like I told you guys, is not back above the zero line, and that just kind of measures us. You know, most recently we've been seeing a little bit more buying coming in here, and we can, I mean, we kind of tell, right, where price is at right now. Been here kind of back and forth, right? This, like TJ was saying, that 30 to 17 level just been, you know, nonstop back and forth. But this time we didn't pull back as low here. We didn't get back below the open this time. The two previous times it did, and this time it did not. But we'll see this time when you're thinking about it auction wise, right? So it auctions down below the open, nobody buys it or nobody sells it. Auctions down below the open again, nobody sells it. So where's it going to go? Going to go back to the top and probably to look at this F high to see if anybody wants to buy it up there, because last time we were up there, nobody wanted to buy it. All right, so down here we've got nobody that wants to sell it. Up here we're starting to see nobody want to buy it. So this time on the way up, we've just got to, you know, be paying attention. If it breaks through that F high, look for volume to start to pour in to see if buyers are going to come in, because this is kind of one of those days where we've just seen excess on the high. We have, oops, we have a poor low still, but you know, this is the first period, hasn't broken down below that A low yet. So we're seeing buying shut off, we're seeing selling shut off. We haven't really seen any, you know, huge player in the game yet. So everything really is just shorter term time frame trading for the most part. What did I want to look up? The volume. Volume started off about 10% more, and in the last period it was only about 3%. And that makes sense because the fear was going on hard in the morning. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a little gun shy, Pop, especially in a volatile market like this. Like, you know, like I said, 100-point ranges every single day almost. It's you know, there's nothing wrong with just taking the time off, or not even trading, just watching. Starting to get up with some volume here. But buyers don't really look like they're, you know, kind of attacking in force. It just looks like nobody's selling yet. So VIX doing. VIX is coming down, up less than 1%. We've got Apple's green, Microsoft green, Google green, Amazon green, Tesla green, Nvidia's green. A lot of green coming in here. But we still, you know, still haven't taken out those initial highs on a lot of these names. Financials are still looking the weakest, really. They're the lagging. They're below their open. Consumer discretionary is below its open. Consumer discretionary is basically at its open.
Looks like it might be taking another run to the downside.
See. I mean, the action on both sides right now is so weak. There's nobody really selling and nobody really buying. Not any size. Not that I'm seeing any size. Remember, they didn't get this below the open yet. That's the target, below the open. Oil's the US is buying back oil. These stupid fucks. They sold that shit so cheap and now they want to buy it back at elevated prices. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think they understand how this shit works.
Sabotage, man. Sabotage.
Like, what the fuck? When you sell stuff, you buy it back when it's cheaper, not more expensive. I mean, like,
They should be practicing that on Sim.
for real. GD.
Let's get Biden account.
Yeah, we might want to get long on oil if the US is saying that they're buying it, or they're just saying that maybe people put a surplus in. Oh, here it is, TJ. I found it. I found the section of the book I was reading last night. So this is a section out of that book by Joel Steenbarger. I think his name's Joel. Steenbarger is definitely his last name. Let me make sure I get his first name right. It's called The Daily Trading Coach. Brett. His name's Brett N. Steenbarger. All right, so it says, a trader's risk aversion may play a role in a prematurely stopping out profits. Suppose you have a choice between making a sure $1,000 profit versus a 75% chance at making a $1,500 profit and a 25% chance at $500. Over time, taking a 75% chance will make you more money. Nonetheless, at any given point in time, a person may feel it is foolish to walk away from a sure $1,000. In such a situation, the decision is made as much for the trader's peace of mind as for the overall profitability. Similarly, traders may set stop profit levels to achieve a sense of certainty, not to maximize returns. Seeing a trade through to its target requires an unusual degree of security and ability to tolerate uncertainty. As the trade moves further in your favor, you have more money in your paper profits than you are exposing to your future risk. Even if the risk to reward picture remains favorable, this ability to sit through a trade's uncertainty as profits accumulate requires particular confidence in the initial trade plan. Ironically, it takes more confidence to stay in the trade as it goes in your favor than it remains in a narrow range simply because more profits are at stake. So basically, it's saying that it takes more confidence to sit in a winning trade than to enter it, right? And I think that, you know, I mean that's just like it's just a fact, right? It's not even really an estimate. It's just like, you guys know, it's so much easier to be like, oh well, I'm already up in profit. If it comes back to this spot, I'll just get out and I'll be happy with that. I won the trade, right? And I think that comes back to the point where we're looking at things in dollars and cents and not trade ideas, right? Because I'm not looking to see if my trade made me money. I'm trying to look to see if my trade worked out, right? So like most of my sections are on my like the Excel sheet that I track my trading on are not based off of the P&L. Most of them are based off of my performance in the trade and my performance with the trade itself. Like, was it a good trade? And even on trades that I make money on, you know, I still have a section, you know, it could still be red even on a winning trade because, you know, maybe my entry wasn't the best. Maybe there's, you know, I factor in all of these things when I'm trading. A little bit of gas here, guys. I factor in all these things when I'm trading because you don't want to just think, oh, because I win every trade, I'm a good trader. that can give you that false confidence, and then you over leverage, and then that's how you blow accounts. And so the next section says, so how does one achieve the level of confidence needed to sit through good trades? Often it's not the loss of the paper profits per se, and he's saying unrealized paper profits is basically what he's saying, that you are in the real threat for traders. After all, if a trade moves your way and you prudently raise your stop loss level to break even, you'll never get hurt by a sudden, unusual, adverse excursion. As disappointing as it may be to lose a paper profit, it's hardly in itself a threat to anyone's account. Rather, the threat to traders lies in how they would process such a retracement in many cases. Their attitude would to become quite negative in the face of lost profits. They might criticize themselves for the missed opportunity or lapse into an uncomfortable state of frustration, instead of viewing the reversal as a gain of nothing lost, simply a scratch trade. They treat it as a situation calling for blame. It's the self-blame and the discomfort of second-guessing that traders are avoiding, not the dollar loss itself. You're never wrong taking profit is an attitude that speaks more to the psychology reality than the logical necessity of taking larger winners than losers. 1 second, guys. Holy, what's this? Never mind, not 1 second. I don't know who that is. Let's see. Hello? Hello? Here's the next section. Let me know if you guys want to switch back to the market. The market's just kind of trying to get back to its settle. See if there's some action here. We're able to take out that F high. And really, I didn't see a ton of volume. It just looked like we just kind of, you know, there's no selling, and price just kind of ran up. Like I said, I think this is a battle between shorter term time frame traders right now. And here it is. Traders often think that they're managing a trade when they exit prematurely, when in fact they're managing their thoughts and feelings about that trade. A very large part of confidence is trust. You have trust in your marriage because you trust your spouse. You have confidence in your driving because you trust your ability to maneuver the car under changing road conditions. If you don't act on your trade ideas, that is, by not seeing them through to their planned conclusion, you actually undercut your confidence by never allowing yourself to develop trust in those ideas. Just a mistrust of a spouse can lead to security in a marriage. A failure to trust your time-tested ideas cannot bring confidence to your trading. You can only endure the uncertainty of a trade that moves in your favor by seeing, in your own experience, that the discomfort is indeed endurable, and that you gain far more than you lose by sticking to your planned trades. Right, and then I think that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, some good stuff.
And basically, you know, that's what I always try to harp on, similarly with the trade plan, right? If you have a trade idea, trade your trade idea. And if your trade idea doesn't work, then that's it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I definitely relate with what you were saying. Like, to me, it's easier to just say, hey, take my profit here and be happy about it, because I'm not confident that it is going to keep going or whatever, you know.
Or you know, another thing, like my uncle was saying yesterday, take it in paper. You know, if you're going to cut your real trade off, take the other trade in paper, and then just, you know, you can take, because it's a paper trade, you can put the stop where you actually would have put your stop, and then you can at least watch it, and it makes you pay attention more when you're even in a paper trade. It makes you pay a little bit more attention, right? Because when you're not in a trade, sometimes you can just not be paying attention. But when you're in a trade, even if it is paper, you still want it to win naturally. I stop loss to break even after a certain amount of profit. Yeah, a lot of times I do, depending upon the situation, or I mean, the trade ideas themselves too, like, so like my trade idea for that first trade was to break below this low. We obviously, you know, came a little bit short, but you know, like, I mean, at that situation, you know, probably hindsight, obviously the idea would have been to cut it, right? But I you know, was adding and stuff, so my average is still pretty good here. But I mean, I still want to see the trade idea work out, but I do have a cutoff spot, right? Yeah, like I'm not gonna sit if we get above the Globex high. That's going to be a no-go sign for me, and then there's probably going to be a lot more upside from there, or a little bit more upside from there. But the market today looks like there's just, you know, it's just shorter term time frame traders in the market, and it really just depends on how many people are buying versus how many people are selling. And the more we go up, the less fear there is in the market, especially because, you know, a lot of people are looking at they're looking at the market, and we're seeing this is the open. They're seeing the market's up, even though yesterday's settle we're below yesterday's settle. They're saying from today, from the open, we're green, and that's how they're trading the market, because they're not paying attention to value. So they're just like, oh, I'll buy. We're up. I'll buy. Buy. You know, and that's, you know, that's kind of probably what happened here. Little people got a little too short. Hello. Oh, my bad, guys. So we're back in this area where we've seen all of these previous auctions end, right? We've got these previous lows, got the Globex high, and we have this high up here at 66.50. So the target here for buyers is the Globex high. It's got to get above that Globex high before we really start to decide that we can buy, I think. I mean, to be more confident in buy trades. There's obviously been buying opportunities for sure. What's interesting here, though, is as the market's going up, and remember I had talked about AMD being kind of strong early on, it's not looking the strongest right now. I mean, it just kind of came up to that high, but it's kind of flattening out, making a lower high. And if we look like Apple, right? Apple made a higher high. Amazon is still kind of just hanging out. Let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia is still kind of hanging out. This is what I'm kind of thinking is like, got Microsoft. Microsoft didn't make a higher high. Google didn't make a higher high. So, I mean, really the buying here is just looks like it's in Apple. Nasdaq's kind of turning over. The Nasdaq didn't make a higher high. Yes, obviously didn't make a higher high yet. And this is kind of the trap that I think is being played here, because we're above the open. People think it's good to buy, but in reality, you've got to be careful, especially when you're buying towards the high of the day. But you know, until we get above that Globex high, really that's where you can see some strength. And if we think about it, you know, most overnight inventory is pretty much short, right? not very much traded above the settle. So overnight inventory is pretty much short. So if we do get above that, there's going to be some short covering for sure. But until we get above that, they're not going to be backing out of their shorts. I don't think. %90 of this game is psychological. Yeah, I agree, Brian. I agree. You know, and that's why a lot of like, you know, you see at trading desks and stuff, you have some of these people that are able to just read the market like wizards, but they don't trade, right? They just are analysts, and they tell, you know, the other people like, hey, you know, this is the move here, and that trader's like, fuck yeah, let's get it. Opens a chart and starts to direct the market. So after, oh yeah, Jim does not use stops, but he trades options. But I mean, he does use stops, but his stops are just, you know, mentally. Like, he just gets to a point where he just cuts his trade. And I mean, Jim does a lot of spreading. He does a lot of spread. So that's how he manages risk, is with a spread, not with a stop. It depends. Like, so it depends on what you're doing. So like, let's say if I just took this one trade, my entry was actually 146, but if I just took the one trade, it came down, didn't break the prior day low, which is where my target was, and then started to move up against me, right? But I'm still in profit. But what I do is I just add along from something else that's looking good. And in this case, it was the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ started to get that juice. So I just got a little NASDAQ long and just let it ride. And then I just waited till spots where we could, you know, possibly get short. And I've been short. I shorted the 42 one time. I shorted the 29 one time. I shorted the 28.50 one time. I shorted the 41.50 one time. When we were lower, I shorted the 15. So I just, you know, and I still have the NASDAQ long. So it's like, you know, I'm balancing off that risk. But yeah, if you're not balancing that risk like that, or spreading. So like, let's say if Jim was taking this trade, right? And he saw the weakness up in the highs, he buys 4,100 puts, right? Well, when price came down and rejected, you know, especially because it did it twice, he would sell these 96, or well, it'd actually be 95. There's no 96, but he'd sell these 49.95 puts. So while they're down low, they're expensive. So let's say he paid $1,000 for these when he bought them up here. Down here, he sells these ones for $1,000, right? And now he's in a risk neutral trade where it doesn't matter what happens in this trade. Even if this trade goes all the way up, he loses zero, right? There's no possible loss. That's why he likes options. No matter what happens today, because he was able to spread it, he has zero risk. Well, what happens is market comes back up and it's against him. Well, this $1,000 for 48.95 put that he sold is now worth $500. So what does he do? He buys it back, right? Which uncaps his gain basically. And now he's sitting max loss $500. So initially his max risk was 1,000. Now his max risk is 500. You know, and that's how he trades. He is just mitigating risk through options, like, constantly. It's just, you know, it's not, what he's doing is really not that complicated, but if you don't have a sizable account, it's not going to be possible, really. But you can do it on that Webull thing that I was I think I talked about it, or maybe sent a message in the Discord on Webull. And I'm not sponsored by Webull. like Charlie. I keep seeing that commercial. Cool. Let's see here. Micro futures. Where's Google at? Yeah, I can't find. But I know I saw an article about it. James sent it to me that you can trade micro futures contracts on Webull. So they'll be a tenth of the size. So you could do that too. That's actually, I think they're like, I mean they're pretty cheap, I think.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm just talking out loud.
Oh,
Vincent,
I thought you were.
thank you for the sub.
Because
No.
I'm funded at Amp Futures and trading on Sierra.
Oh yeah, I know you are. Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, in general, like if to be able to do what Jim does, and if you don't have a big account, you could use those same options. I mean, basically the chain is the same, similar options, but just, you don't have to have a gigantic account to trade them. You don't need a gigantic account to trade them, but you just need some cash in there. And there's no day trade or there's no PDT, like pattern day trade rule on options futures or futures options, so you don't have to have 25K in your account either. Oh dang, CRO went down to 27 cents. Holy shit, I didn't see that. Anyone gonna go see Doctor Strange this weekend? Yeah, 2 points of risk. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think that's enough. I agree with you. I mean, not on these volatilities, or this volatility that we're seeing here. You're gonna go see Doctor Strange? I think I'll go see it too. Maybe on Sunday, or maybe I'll buy the tickets right now.
This isn't even that volatile.
What?
Not like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. That was like, yeah, that was where you're getting like massacres, yeah. But I mean, this is still a pretty decent range. Like, I mean, just in the last 30 minutes, this thing was 45 to 13. That's a pretty wide range. It's historically.
If your stop is 2 points away, then you only have like 3 seconds. 3 minutes isn't enough to, or 30 minutes isn't. You're not worried about 30 minutes. You're worried about 30 seconds.
Right. You've got to be trying to get like as close as you can to these entries. So like, if you know that you can only risk 2 points, you start from where you're wrong, 57. Here's 55. You basically just have to be waiting to get short up at this level. And that's almost kind of a dangerous spot to get short at this rate, right? Because it's so close to the breaking the high of the session. Starting to pick up some tempo here to the downside. We just saw somebody pop in on the 30 at 200 lots.
I just traded like 3 times, got stopped out, and now it goes down in my favor because I was talking to you.
Damn.
You bastard.
My bad.
It's just the sim, but and I'm just playing around right now. I'm just goofing around, trying to find something that I'm just experimenting with some real tight scalping.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Kind of like TJ was saying, you got to figure out what works for you as well. And you know, he's right. I am a slower trader. I don't I really don't look for these kind of scalps. You guys seen that on crypto, right? Crypto, I like to just wait for breakout trades to happen because they're just so much easier. And I know people scalp crypto, and you know, those people are just animals. It's just
The nice thing about crypto is
you can just
you
lever the
can
fuck up.
no, the opposite. You can, if you want to play around and you want to just play different strategies, you can risk one millionth of a penny. You know,
Oh,
it's
you
like
could you could do that on you could do that on stocks too. I think a lot of these things provide fractional shares. You could literally buy like 1 penny of a share. I mean, your gain is obviously going to be, you know,
well, yeah, if you're just trying to practice,
right.
but with but but your fee, but then your fee is higher. I mean, you
Oh,
still have the fee.
there's no fee on buying stocks. Not on those apps.
Oh, okay, but that I'm talking about futures though.
Oh, futures, yeah.
Practicing, yeah.
Yeah, futures you basically need like 1 tick to pay the fees.
Right, exactly.
Good morning. We're just waiting for the market to crash. I mean, at least I am. I don't know what everyone else is waiting for, but
Making the kids lunch.
nice. Starting to pick up some tempo. See if we can get below that open. If we get another poor low right here, I might just call it. I should just selling just looks stronger than buying today for me. We're getting the tick is getting below 1,000 now here though. Although selling is getting a little bit exhausted, it looks like. Let's see if they can crack this open. I want to see some tempo below that open. Let's just take that G low and just keep it moving. Amazon selling here. Even gold's coming down a little bit right here. At least AMD, yeah. All right, AMD, go to 0, you fucker. I was kind of bummed I didn't listen to myself and buy AMD when it was in that zone. I wanted to take some long calls, but I was just being a little baby back. Morning, Dad. You're in all caps again. All right, we're back to the open. Starting to hang out here. This is what I was looking for. The selling is not strong yet, though. That's the thing. I'm not seeing like any big sellers will move down right here and try to pound the market down. Like they're trying to be sneaky. Like, you know, sellers want it to go down. There's some volume right there. There we go. So we got some capitulation from those buyers that were buying the open. They just sold the open. Let's see if they keep it below. Nope. I'm not a huge fan of this low right here. Like, it doesn't look very strong to me. That buying off the open just kind of looks mechanical again. It looks like they're just kind of flip-flopping. Like they were buying the open, it looked like some steam picking up. They sold the open, turned around, bought it back, short covered, and they're just kind of back and forth right here. He was always a yeller. Yeah. Bitcoin coming back down to that point of control as well. So we're starting to hang out here right at the open. This is kind of what I was looking for more downside. That lets us know that sellers are moving down a little bit. If we start to get too far away from the open without getting back underneath of it, it's not ideal for the short side. And it would just be kind of letting us know that nobody's willing to sell below the open. And yep, and there it goes. It's just everyone's just short covering below the open. Little baby backs. Let's sell this thing off. Here we go. Starting to see some sellers step up here, it looks like. And they just cover right there. Yep. Yep. Sellers are trying to hold this 20 level right here. That's where they need to try to keep holding this thing below. They lost the open, now they're trying to hold the 20. If they keep going, this thing's get back above 23, the next level up. Back to 24, I mean. 24 is kind of the resistance where we saw that impulse from before we came down here. Look at the volume. Volume's still about 2% more than yesterday. So there you see a little bit more selling, trying to backfill right here. This was like pretty weak coming through down here, right? It was kind of an impulse through, hung out down here, and we found out that it was just short covering for the most part. Less inclined to keep holding. Oh damn, it's 10:30 already? Oh my. What do we have? 5 minutes till the next period opens up. I don't know. Something just has me thinking that this thing's coming down today. I don't know why, but and I definitely am looking to be wrong right here is what it looks like. Just has me thinking that. But if we get above this Globex high, there's there'll be no doubt for me that we're not going to go down. But until we get above that Globex high, I'm still just kind of thinking like every time this thing rallies up, I'm just going to sell it. Starting to get below here. Let's see. Back towards the open. So if H period breaks the low, we need to immediately look for that 4100 because the tempo might pick up and it might go there. It might go there right away. When we have this H period kind of auctions up towards the high and then all of a sudden just buying shuts off up there. And then the second bounce right there, it came, from right basically off the open, a little bit below the open and then, popped up to was like 28 or something like that. It just looks a little bit weak. So it looks like this H low is mechanical, right? They're buying the G low, buying the open. So if it does break, you kind of have to look for that capitulation and see if there is initiated selling to look down for that prior day low, and that prior day low is a weak reference. And so the steam could start to pick up if they flip. And you've got to just be kind of paying attention for that. And that will come with, getting below the open and staying below the open. That will be kind of our sign right there. So there's probably a decent trade opportunity from there if it's able to establish below the open. So at least maybe repair that prior day low. Might not get all the way down to the low, but it just kind of keeps bouncing. That VPOC is moving up slowly but surely here. Yeah, so it's kind of like this is just like TJ said, a choppy area, not really the best place to be getting in a trade. It'd be, waiting to get into a trade up here, waiting to get in a trade below the open is probably more ideal. So it failed right at the same spot up there, basically, like the 28-ish area, like 28, 30-ish area. High period's opening up. Let's see what we get here. A lot of buying on this 24 here. Remember we talked about that. They kind of lost the open and then they started buying the 24. So this will be our third time up here at like this 28 to 30 level. See if they're going to bust it up this time. Go. They seem to be moving up buyers here on this 30. And sellers are trying to sell down here too. So this is a battle right here, this 30 area. Sellers are trying to get busy here, it looks like. There they go, they got it. And then remember 24 is where buyers stepped up before. See if they can get that 24. Break of the 24 might actually take us below the open this time. They're trying it. We're kind of seeing sellers start to initiate a little bit lower here. This is interesting. We haven't seen this really in the past couple of periods. We've really just seen nobody selling when we get down low and then nobody buying when we get up top. But we're actually seeing some initiated selling here. All right, notice how the retracements are very narrow, right? They bounce up quick and then they come right back down. You just got to get below that 24. That's where the buyer's looking at. And I mean, it kind of looks the same way. It kind of looks like buyers were initiating above the open and sellers are starting to initiate a little bit lower now. So there's a little battleground forming here. A really tight battleground in between like 30 and 24. I'm doing the same thing on the biggest scale. Listen, $1 million anywhere. This ain't. So they're basically saying like, hey, how much do you guys want? We'll sell it all to you down here. And buyers so far have been like, yeah, keep it coming. We're hungry.
So in like the idea of an auction, if all those people are hungry to buy and the sellers run out of stuff to sell to them, then that the price would go up.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. When you run out of supply, the price goes up. I'm back up to the 30 here. Oh, you typing all caps at work. So this kind of like the 31 to 32-ish area is kind of where it looked like to me that sellers were starting to initiate here. It might be scared. Hey, let me turn it on. 1 second, guys.
he doesn't come back, you might miss out.
That right there is exactly why you don't try to short the bottom. Tempo is definitely starting to pick up. A lot faster moves are starting to come in.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss? Anything wild? Oh, a little up and down, huh? Broke that open,
It broke the 41.24.
and then it spilled below the open. Got some interest down there, but not too much, huh? See if we get on this second go.
Tempo is
Looked like,
definitely picking up.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, like as soon as you got off, the price was at like 41.33, and it went like straight down to 41.13.
That's annoying. So look where sellers are absorbing now. It kind of looks like, right? Look at the volume here. This is just the last 30 minutes of volume, not the I period, just the last 30 minutes. So you're seeing, like they step up here a little bit above the open, and then selling comes in here, or volume comes in here, and we get below it. So if price gets above that, that's going to start acting as support, because you're going to start to see capitulation from some of these sellers, and then their stops are probably here. Let's see if they resell this thing here. Sellers are looking definitely stronger here for sure, in my opinion. It's getting, and the book is getting kind of thin. It's weird. Oh, this fucking cat just scratched the shit out of me. Bitch. And see, this comes back to kind of like my conspiracy theory today. All this volume is coming in right above the open. And that's what makes me think it's all just people like, oh, we're above the open, I'm just gonna buy because we're above the open. And as soon as we give it up and start to hang out below the open, this thing's just gonna fucking get smacked. But I definitely could be wrong, and what this could be is just people buying, saying that this is good value, and they're buying it, just near this level for some reason, and it could start acting as support and really just start to take off. So this is a spot we're definitely going to need to be managing risk here, especially towards the end of the day. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to be holding positions through the weekend, at least not a lot of them. ISEG upload SLP, what's that? Is that a ticker? SLP. Back below the open. This is where the short covering was at last time, at the 13. We see it again. We want to see, catch hurts, man. We want to see some volume start to come in below the open. We want to see price just start to hang out right here. This data is really fucking my option straight up though. Bitcoin has a weak low down here. Let's see if Bitcoin takes out that weak low. That might give us the sign here that we can get or just toss on a couple more. And then what you wonder is this just short covering below the open? Like everyone's just getting short and then bunch of short covering, and that's why the volume's building here. Come on, sellers, where you guys at? I have to force this thing down by myself.
The three-way with all your brokerage accounts. All right, boys, all in.
I'm fucking about to. This thing looks like it wants to go. It's just no one's helping it. It's like one of my friends is getting their ass beat, and I know if I jump in, definitely we're gonna win. But I just don't know if I want to jump in. I don't know if I want to leave it a fair fight or just kind of walk away from it. Yeah, there's just nobody's willing to just get short underneath the open. It looks like not real short at least. It looks weak though. I mean, it just looks so the market looks weak right now. Bitcoin's breaking a low. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see what you got, Bitcoin. Nice. Let's go. Game time. First stop 10, then 8, and then below that is going to be the double O. People, and those are just mechanical buyers. So they'll just be a small bounce, and then we'll just start crushing them down. Still, sellers are not really willing to move down in force here. That bounce from 10 was actually holding so far. On weakness. Oh, Bitcoin broke its previous low and is now coming back into range, so might be all they got here. Okay, there we go. There's some sellers trying to hold the 15 right there, it looks like. 15 to 16, right below the open. They need to get down to this 10 on this push. Get down there. There it is. Free lunch. Next stop is going to be the 8, the halfback, and then after below that double O. Target is obviously the weak low here, but coins going. There's the 8. 21st floor, menswear. Name that movie. Nobody?
I have no idea.
Liar, liar.
Oh, yeah.
I might say 31st floor. It might be 31st floor, 21st floor. 31st floor, menswear. So this is mechanical buying off half back, right? Bunch of fools just trading scalps. I mean, I don't want to say fools, I guess. It's everyone's got their own style, so.
That's it. I'm out of here.
So there is a little bit of support here from like, I would say probably like 7 to 98, right? There could be some more choppiness down here below that, trying to get below the previous day's low. We're not bouncing much here, so buyers really aren't stepping up too much besides buying that prior day low, and it kind of looks like they've figured out that they're not going to win that battle and they've given it up. There it goes. Yeah, so watch like all the way down to really like the 98 still gives like, even if it hits 98, like just gets right below yesterday's low and then pops back into range, repairs this week low, then there is some decent odds that it could retrace all the way back up to volume. But because the volume is not really picking up that much. My internet. Still about 2% more than yesterday here. Fuck is cream, bro? This fucking cat scratch is giving me a rash.
Cat scratch fever.
No, I think I'm allergic, maybe. Not that, like, I don't get allergic to the hair from that cat, but it was all pissy because I was holding her and wouldn't let her down. That meme was so fucking funny. Did you guys see this meme that I posted in the Discord? It was so funny. I saw it on Twitter yesterday and I just had to repost it. Look, Mom,
Boy.
crypto YouTube. Yeah, dude, that shit cracked me up. And that shit pissed me off because like when Ramon and I first started this, you know, we were on all day, every day, just grinding the stream out, even at night. And we reached out to BitBoys people and we're like, hey, you know, we'd like to go on your show. You know, we have really good trading history. And, you know, they were like, nah, like, you're not big enough. I was like, oh shit, my bad. And then that's when the drama started. Not from me, but from Ramon, because he fucking made all those clips. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Otto. Yes, yeah, today's been a pretty good close so far for the week. You know, hopefully we can just get down here and repair this poor low and hit this 37 mark and sell these options and enjoy my sister's wedding this weekend. So selling's starting to get a little bit weak here. The market's starting to get a little bit choppy too. Bouncing around here. How much time do we have left? 2 minutes until the next period opens up. Oh, that makes sense. Let's just wait a second. It'll be interesting to see when this closes if what the volume's like in the market if the volume's starting to increase. $30. Here we go. 2, 1. Hello? Where's our next bar at?
Mine popped up.
Yeah, mine did. What the fuck's going on here?
That would have been a mean joke. I was just like, man, we should just all yell like, "Oh, it's rallying! It's rallying!" Bro, I was gonna be clicking flat, flat.
I mean, I still see the price on my Dom. It's just weird that that didn't, like, is the fucking clocking wrong on this thing? What the fuck is going on here? Oh, now it's frozen. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. Eventually it's got to catch up, I'm sure. The volume decreased only about 1.8% as price got lower here. The I'm gonna re-download all the data real quick, so it might take a second, but we'll see what happens. That was stressful. I could still see the price on my Dom. We're up at 5 quarter, right? Is that right?
107.
Oh, we're up at 7.
It's
Yeah, my
moving fast though, so yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's bouncing around. It's 105 now.
yesterday you got stop out 3 times, but today in 2 MQ 50 points, 1 MQ for 100 points. Started a new evaluation on Monday after almost 2 months since I lost my funded account. Worked patience.
Ooh,
I think I'm ready to go.
stops came out.
To the downside or the upside?
Shot up to 4111.
Yeah.
Back down to 109 right now.
What the fuck is the deal here with this thing? Oh, this...
Old computer. Your computer's like 6 months old, right? That's like really old.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, this computer is like it's actually almost like 4 or 5 years old. It's the data that's not connecting. There it goes. Let's see.
I thought you got a new computer.
No, not yet. I'm gonna get a new computer.
Okay.
My goodness, what the fuck is this?
Welcome to my world. That's how Sierra Charts treats me. My computer's like 5 years old too.
I'm about to get a beast of a computer when I move, but fucking hours. Data limiting. It's only supposed to load 25 days. It shouldn't be that fucking difficult. Yeah, it's my internet, I can tell. Crypto Mojo, been listening to you guys for the last couple of hours while I'm roofing on my shed. I've enjoyed listening and I'm very intrigued from what I'm seeing and how you're trading. EXO charts mostly right. Have I ever used book maps? No, I mean I've seen book maps and I've looked at it. Like I've downloaded it and used it. I just don't think it's necessary. This is not EXO charts, it's actually Sierra charts, but for some reason it's having like technical difficulties with its own survival, so I don't know what its issue is. Ever that's starting to annoy the shit out of me, that's for sure.
Sierra charts is pretty demanding on your computer, I think.
It's not as demanding on your GPU as Ninja Trader was, at least on my computer.
It like downloads a lot of data. I think you're supposed to clear, like delete your data as you go.
Not delete and download intraday data during an existing historical data download. Book. Start. Oh my god. I'm gonna have a freak out here pretty soon.
Can you pull it up on your iPad?
No, not Sierra charts.
We repaired that poor low.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we're down at 40.95.
Okay. I mean, I'm still in the short, so I just want it to keep going down.
And I wasn't in. I had the perfect plan. I just didn't execute on it. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jay comes back up to the bottom of what was that? I think G. That's where I was kind of looking to get in, but I didn't want to pull the trigger. I wouldn't risk it. That would have been the perfect entry though.
It was a couple of points. It was maybe 2 points below G, below the bottom G.
Maybe so. I'm on 2 tick.
Yeah, I mean, oh, maybe it's 1 tick. Maybe it's 1 point. Yeah, I changed. I was on 4 ticks, but yeah, I'm on 2 ticks now.
Apple's getting ready to flip red.
Good. Oh, it's Thinkorswim that's fucking just sucking all my internet down its throat. I'm gonna start running Thinkorswim on my laptop, my iPad. Mod REI, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate it. Crypto Mojo, I don't have an affiliate link for Sierra charts. It's not really like crypto. But if you join our Discord, I'm sure one of these guys has an affiliate link for a crypto thing, and you can use one of theirs. I do have an affiliate link with Apex, but that's it. Nothing else. Let me Ninja Trader. I just tried to open up Ninja Trader, and that's why I know it's the internet. So the memory of Thinkorswim is just sucking down all my memory. I need to figure out how to lower that. My CPU is good.
It's a Java app, so good luck with that.
Yeah, it just sucks up so much energy. When I move, I'm gonna have fiber wire too, so my internet will be
Nice.
better. I have just like regular bullshit here because we live in an old ass house.
What I have here is fiber.
Yeah, it's like necessary. especially
for
for
the
you.
amount yeah, I was gonna say for the amount of data that I put through. Well, all of my stuff moved to Amazon, so it's actually downloading all that data in Amazon now. But like I used to get alerts on my phone because I have a router that will like track what different computers in the house are doing. And it would say, over the last 2 hours, this computer has downloaded 5 gigabytes of data. Considering that's not a video stream, that's a hell of a lot of data, just saying.
Yeah, I don't know about the I know like a gig is a lot, right? Gig, cause
well, so here's the thing. If you have a video stream, it depends on what the bit rate is and the quality of it. But like if you're just downloading freaking an options an options stream, I mean, even for all the ones that I do download it for, I mean, it's just, yeah, there's just a crap ton of data coming down.
there's an old course on Discord, which is a gold mine. Generally, you learn market profile from multiple sources. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, there's so much information on YouTube that's free that you can join. We might do a class. I know people want like a boot camp, which I'm still working on. It's just I'm a perfectionist, and like when I compare myself to where my aspirations are at, and that's the level of Jim Dalton, him being my mentor, and that's that's the standard I want to hold myself. I don't want to be just as good as Jim. I want to be better than Jim. And that's not in that there's no animosity there. That's just the standard that I hold myself to, and so it's just taking me longer to put that out because I just want it to be really fucking good. I don't want it to be like have any mistakes in it. So, I have to have other people check it out. The fucking internet is just dying here. I'm just gonna close Thinkorswim and see if that helps us a little bit. The breadth is like -3. It's just not looking good. It's looking like caca. Hell yeah. James almost finished Atomic Habits in like 4 days. Fucking powering through. Nice. It's weird the stream still works, but nothing else. It's just like, oh, TradingView, you're cool. Psych.
And the stream is solid. Like I haven't heard any hiccups, no static, nothing.
Do you applaud me if I learned from Jim? Terrible presentation. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, his presentations might not be the best, but his information is the best. Right? If you're gonna learn, his understanding of the auction is second to none. Right? He really does have. I mean, it almost started to load there. Did you guys see that? I was like, it's like, he really does have the best when it comes to that. I'm just gonna fucking close everything. Discord, all Epic Pen, don't need it.
Back over that.
Did you close your
Yeah.
trade yet, Brad?
No, I have not. I am not logged in, so my take profit is at 40.37. So I haven't been able to look at the market really. Is it bouncing back up?
Yeah,
A little bit.
did a little bit of a bounce, but I mean, I don't know if it'll hold. It seems like it's got a pretty solid downward trajectory, but I'll just say that I'm out. Not that that's any gauge to go by, because I am definitely not
Yeah, it's taking
magician.
a breather.
Yeah.
It says it's downloading the data, but it's not. It's not fucking doing anything. Stupid. I'm sorry to hear that, Crypto Mojo. Yeah, I thought I had seen the name before for sure. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your mom. That's something.
If if I had to guess, your computer is using swap. That's what's happening. It ran out of memory. How much memory do you have in that?
On the computer?
Yeah.
At least a terabyte.
No. How much memory, not hard drive space?
Let me see. Memory. I don't really know how to look it up.
You're using what, Windows 10?
11.
Same diff. I gotta think. It's been a hell of a long time since I've actually messed with Windows. How do you guys get to the system panel where you're actually seeing all the stuff the computer has?
Like this?
Like you right click on my computer. No. There's a way to get to it using. Hold that thought 1 sec.
Brad, what I did when that happened to me like a couple days ago, is I opened my Sierra charts folder, where it has like your files and all that stuff.
Open Explorer. Let's just open
Right.
Explorer, and we'll right click and we can get there.
Just search
you can just
DX
right-click on your
Diag in
start
the
menu.
bottom corner.
You right click on your start menu and hit systems. It brings you right to that page.
Okay, scroll all the way top. So you only have 8 gig. Okay, so step number 1.
But there's
you
actually
need-
16 gigs. It's weird that it
Oh.
says that because
It's
there's
not
6.
recognizing one of your sticks.
That's weird. Ever since I switched to Windows 11, this thing's just been a complete pile of shit.
Well, it's still running
Dude.
Microsoft.
I just deleted the ES historical data. That way I had to re-download it, and that fixed mine.
Okay, I'll do that. Let's see. I'll have to take the computer, or open up the computer and see what's up with that stick. Because that's not going to be... I'm down to deal with. Yeah, definitely, man. And be safe on that roof for sure. Yeah, my computer's
not-
using a lot of memory is what it says. Maybe
Well,
because I'm
that's-
running Zoom. It's just anti-malware.
With 8 gig, I mean, you run Zoom and freaking Thinkorswim. That's it. You're done.
So you went to Sierra charts and then under data, TJ?
Yeah, like under data, it should say like ES. It'll show the symbol .cme .scid. Those
Okay.
are like your historical data. So I just deleted those, and then it had to re-down. It forced it to like re-download all of it when I opened it back up.
Like I'm getting some new RAM today. I don't know if I can get. There's nowhere around me that I can actually like buy stuff like that. It's Best Buy is like 45 minutes away. Let's see if it downloads. Nope, it's back at that 4100. This looks like it's updating. Yeah. Did it close all my other? Well, I guess we might have to call it here, guys. I mean, this thing is not really updating. I've got to probably make a phone call here pretty soon. To get out of this fucking trade. Man, there it goes again.
Yeah, do what you got to do, bro. hate for the market to change direction here on you.
I would
Yeah.
call right now to make sure, because if I mean, you can't be certain that thing isn't just gonna freaking to the moon.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you guys have, you know, some good TTV this weekend, some time to value. Take some time off the charts. You know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying, you know, some leisure time, right? Definitely try to refresh. That's what I try to use the weekend for, as a reset, to get my mind back to where I need it to be, in order to, you know, keep trading successfully. But other than that, I'll be around in the Discord, I'm sure, because the Discord still seems to be working. So if you guys need anything, just give me a shout.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you, man.